This crypto ecosystem is showing signs that it may be the next Solana. It has some extremely similar characteristics. It's fast, it has a rapidly developing DeFi ecosystem, and it also has massive opportunities on chain for you to make money via airdrops, meme coins, and much, much more. So in today's video, I'm going to break down that ecosystem and give you the early alpha on the opportunities that I believe lie on this new chain. Unlike Solana, however, this chain has no VC backing, no insiders. It's simply a chain with great tech that the community has adopted for fundamental reasons, not because it's a forced narrative. And that's one unique aspect that I really like about it. So if you do enjoy content like this, where I give you the early crypto alpha to make sure that you succeed in this market, make sure to click that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And if you are part of the notification gang, let me know by commenting Noti Gang down below. I want to thank you guys for all your support over the last few months. I definitely feel the love. I read the comments and I love the community that we are building here on the Mars Deutscher channel and also in the Mars High Club Discord. So before we get into the ecosystem, I firstly want to make an observation. The current price action that we're exhibiting is extremely similar to that of summer 2023. And as an extension of that, the sentiment now feels eerily similar to that of August to October last year. Retail interest is evaporating fast. The YouTube views are down across pretty much all the major channels. Twitter engagement's down. There's less conversations happening online about crypto. And the Google trends are also down for crypto. There seems to be a lot of apathy amongst existing market participants, so they're just bored with the market and they're not really interested in actively trading. And there's also, because of that, a lack of clear narratives driving the market. We're seeing a couple of trends pop up here and there, but these narratives aren't sustaining like they were earlier in the year. And of course, the Bitcoin price action looks extremely similar to 2023. However, ironically, given the fact that there's apathy in the market and given the fact that it does look similar to 2023, this is probably the best time to lock in, accumulate, research stuff, find new opportunities, dig into new ecosystems, airdrop farm, etc. Because last time we had a sustained period of market contraction in both the volume and the retail interest. The subsequent move after that occurred was violent, as we headed back into the expansion phase in November. So your goal now as an investor and a crypto trader is to lock in and stay focused until then, because these periods of apathy, just like last year, end up being the best periods to accumulate and research. And that's what videos like today are going to help you to do. Today, I'm going to be explaining a brand new ecosystem, which you might not have even heard before. And these are the types of things you should be looking into this environment, especially things that give you the ability to earn money through airdrops like we'll discuss today, especially ecosystems with newer projects that are launching and potentially will give you more opportunities before they become saturated. So right now is a time that I'm actually doubling down on my research, and you're probably going to see this reflected in the content with lots of new deep dives into new ecosystems and just covering some topics that you aren't hearing other YouTubers cover, because I really want to help you during this period to lock in and stay focused. And I want to point you in the right direction as to things that I'm looking at and investing in to make sure that you succeed during this period. So out of all the narratives in the market right now, there is one trend which is a little bit stronger in terms of price action over the last week than other trends, and that is actually layer ones. I think what's happening right now is due to the extreme performance of Solana. There is currently a race to solidify the third place after Ethereum and Sol as the leading layer one blockchain. So because Sol has run up so much and the market cap discrepancy versus Sol and the third place has spread out so much, a lot of the other L1s are repricing, or at least we are seeing interest going back into those infrastructure plays as people speculate on what could be the next Solana. Now, in truth, there's not really a next Solana, so to speak, because it's a unique blockchain. However, there are blockchains which are exhibiting similar characteristics which can go on a Solana-like run in terms of A, price appreciation, and 2, network and user growth. I think Sol's going to be around. I'm extremely bullish on Sol. And I think whatever layer 1 ends up as number 3 and number 4, there's a place for them. There's a unique niche for them. Every chain has its own benefits in terms of chain abstraction, in terms of throughput, in terms of gas fees, in terms of their ability to link and sync liquidity with other chains and dApps. Every chain, due to its structure, whether that be modular, whether that be monolithic, has their own unique benefit. And you've seen different angles. Like Near Protocol, for example, has gone more down the AI route. Ton, for example, has gone more down the mobile, like retail-focused payments route. They're not so much in the DeFi trenches. They're trying to make an application more like WeChat where you can send money on an app. Phantom is just trying to be a blazingly fast blockchain that is geared toward DeFi gaming on-chain activity with their new Sonic launch. Arweave is more in the DePIN realm, but also has a focus on AI with their new supercomputer. Casper is more like a Bitcoin competitor, so to speak, if you want to put it in the proof-of-work mining category. So all of these are different. They're all performing well relative to the market, but they're all achieving different things. Over the last week, we've seen Sui perform really well in the L2 category, going from 50 cents to $1. This is something I shared as one of my top trades on the show on Friday. This was one of the only trades that ended up validating over the weekend, and that made us some nice profits, running up 35% in a matter of days. It's now started to retrace a little bit, but that was a pretty explosive pump from the breakout that I highlighted on the show. So, of course, well done everyone that watched this and has been in my Discord and following those trade updates that got on the Sui trade. But today I'll tell you about one that I think still has upside. And of course, Solana is a token that's pretty much led the entire market, led the entire L1 run, led the crypto run in general, and performed extremely well from obviously the FTX period when it bottomed out around $7 to $8 until all the way in March when it ran up until $200, and it's now sitting around $150. I still think Solana has upside. I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago, but obviously, I'm actively searching for other blockchains and other opportunities in the market as well. And that led me to discovering this new layer 1, which is Hyperliquid, primarily focused on trading. And therein lies the key here to a potential airdrop and also opportunities in the ecosystem. But they're a trading-focused L1 with a decentralized perpetual exchange with extremely fast speeds, liquidity, and price. To explain what it is in more detail, Hyperliquid is a performant L1 optimized from the ground up. It's an on-chain open financial system with user-built applications interfacing with performant native components. The Hyperliquid L1 is performant enough to operate an entire ecosystem of permissionless financial applications. Every order, cancel, trade, and liquidation happens transparently on-chain, so unlike centralized exchanges, with block latency of less than a second. The chain currently supports 100,000 orders a second. The Hyperliquid L1 utilizes a custom consensus algorithm called HyperBFT. We'll discuss that in a little bit more depth later, which is heavily inspired by Hot Stuff and its successors. Both the algorithm and networking stack are optimized from the ground up to support the layer 1. The flagship native application is fully on-chain, so the flagship native application being the Perpetuals exchange. The Hyperliquid Dex. Further developments include a native token standard, spot trading, where some opportunities lie in the meme coin realm. We'll discuss that at the end of the video. Permissionless liquidity, etc. One thing I want to point out here is that it's a new L1 that doesn't have private investors. It doesn't have any VC funding at all. As far as I'm concerned, they haven't been paying people to speak about it. For example, this video is not paid. I stumbled across this organically, and I'm making a video because I want to give you the early alpha. So I think that's something really unique. I didn't invest in this. I'm just like you. I'm just a user that discovered the blockchain and thought it was really cool. And as I've started to airdrop farm on chain, I've realized how cool it is, and I wanted to make a video about it. So that is one real plus, that it's growing an organic community. The community is actually called the Hyperliquidated, which I find extremely funny. It's a great community name. And that is one of the unique things about Hyperliquid versus these other VC-backed L1s. Now, it's not inherently a bad thing. Obviously, VC backing on coins like Solana, Sui, Aptos was important to fund development, and it was important to pull strings in the industry to speed up development and and obviously facilitate the development of the ecosystem. So I'm not hating on VC coins. I hold VC coins. I talk about VC coins, but it is a unique selling point, which I think, especially in this environment where people are feeling a little bit mistrusting of VCs, I guess, since a lot of the new launches have been down in price, this does stand out as a potential narrative that people might gravitate towards. And you can see if you go into CryptoRank, you won't see any backers here. The token isn't live yet. There's an airdrop opportunity at play, which we're going to talk about, and that is based on the amount of points that you accumulate. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in just a minute here. Of course, that will pave the way for a potential governance token, and there'll be trading opportunities down the track. But firstly, let's talk about some of the data, because this thesis that I'm building out here isn't just built on, random words or buzzwords. It's built on data. So the first thing that I noticed was the fact that they recently achieved an all-time high in 24-hour perps volume at 4.3 billion. This was also coupled with an all-time high in network traffic with no network downtime, so it seems to be handling this increased load extremely well. If you go into DeFi Llama, you can also observe that it's now reached almost $1 billion in TVL, around 700 million, putting it as rank number 15 of all chains, actually flipping Mantle, Ton, Mode, Say, Starknet, Thorchain, and Nia, and Cardano. And it seems to be gaining enough traction to, in my opinion, also soon flip Aptos, Sui, and potentially Optimism to reach a top 10 spot in terms of DeFi TVL. You can also see the derivatives volume highlighted in the green here has been extremely strong, most days holding above 100 million, many days crossing a billion, and we did see a record day just a week ago of $4.3 billion, which is absolutely huge. To run through some of the fundamentals, the team at Hyperliquid has built the best performing layer 1, including their own consensus algorithm with 200k TPS. Actually, Solana isn't even the blockchain which I would liken most similarly to Hyperliquid. I would actually say it's more similar to Monad, which is obviously a very hyped blockchain, which is going to be launching soon with parallelized execution. So 200k TPS is absolutely massive. It's the leading perp dex and spot dex with over 700 million in stablecoin TVL. Over the last few days even, it's been increasing rapidly. It has a custom oracle, a custom bridge, and they've managed to build this with a core team of less than 10 people, which is obviously crazy. Now, I'm assuming they're going to be scaling up massively. Another thing that's been really impressive, considering their small team and the lack of VC backing, is the shipping speed. So they've managed to ship product updates really quickly. They've been adding new pairs really quickly, quicker than many other exchanges, and that does obviously give them an advantage in the market. If you go into the exchange, and I'll show you this in more depth in a minute here, you can see it has lots of new coins listing, which is obviously great. That's what you want as a DEX in order to incentivize volume. You can also see that the team is entirely self-funded, so not VC funded as we just discussed. And the Hyperliquid dev team does not actually profit from increased activity, as unlike many other blockchains, they don't collect trading fees. So it has an exponentially increasing burn, so the tokenomics are more solid. Obviously, the governance token isn't live yet, but it's not an extractionary chain like other chains. And the revenue is actually going back to the community through the HLP, where you can deposit liquidity and earn staking rewards. Jeff says here, another project could have easily pocketed some or all of these profits, but the entire point here is to build community, and the way to do that is to route profits back to the community. So that's also something cool about Hyperliquid, which makes it very non-predatory. And once again, shouldn't have to state this again, but I'm not an investor. I wasn't paid to do this video. I'll always disclose if I'm paid to do a video. By the way, you'll notice I don't do many of them because I generally like to keep things on this channel organic and be transparent with you guys. This is, as I said, something I stumbled across and thought was really cool. I wanted to get you in on early. We're not early in terms of it having 10 million in TVL, but we're early enough that I think there's still a lot of growth and still an opportunity, which we're going to discuss on the airdrop and the spot side to do with altcoins, without it being too late either, because I wanted to see how things developed over the last few weeks before making a video, do some more research, check things out, and pretty much all roads have led to me being interested in the product. So how can you get involved? I'll explain to you what I've been doing. So basically, the way you can get a potential airdrop is to earn points on Hyperliquid. So points are distributed every single Friday, and you can earn points in two ways. One, trading on the exchange, and 2, holding a spot portfolio on the exchange. I'll explain how to do both right now. If you go onto Hyperliquid and click trade, this is the perp dex. It allows you to trade perps just like you would on Blofin or Bybit, etc. But obviously here you can do it in a decentralized manner, and everything is on chain and everything's being powered by their custom built L1. You have in some cases the ability to do 50x leverage. Obviously I don't recommend that, but it is a flexible exchange and it has a lot of tokens. So unlike other dexes, you have a lot to choose from here, which is obviously great. The way to build up trading volume here is, there's a few ways you can do it, but the points are pretty linear. So the more volume you get, the more points you're going to get every Friday until they end up announcing the snapshot, which they haven't yet. So yes, you still have time to farm an airdrop here. The first thing you need to do is deposit into Hyperliquid to actually trade. It's on Arbitrum. So you'll need to put USDC into a MetaMask or a Rabi wallet on Arbitrum in order to trade. So for example, you can go into an exchange like Blofin, you can transfer your USDC out of Blofin, withdraw it to Hyperliquid via the Arbitrum blockchain. And if you do want to sign up for a new Blofin account, we actually have a very juicy deposit offer here. This is actually a crazy deposit offer. If you deposit $2,000 via the link in the description below, you're going to get a $300 bonus to trade futures with. So $300 of free capital to trade futures for depositing $2,000. If you're less of a whale, if you have less capital, even if you deposit $100, you're going to get $15 to trade for free. If you deposit $500, you're going to get $75 for free, and $1,000, you're going to get $150 for free. So I'd like you to come up with a better deposit bonus than that on an exchange, because this is honestly one of the best I've seen, and it will only be for the first 100 users. So if you want to sign up, there's a link in the description below. Click it, deposit, and for the next 8 days only for the first 100 users, these will be your deposit bonuses. $300 bonus for a $2,000 deposit is crazy, considering at the end of the campaign period, you can just take your $2,000 out and you have $300 to trade for free. But if you want to execute this Hyperliquid airdrop strategy, you could withdraw some of that deposit into Hyperliquid via the Arbitrum network and start trading. And to build up volume trading, you don't need to take insane risk. You can actually, obviously there's fees, right? So you're going to lose a little bit to fees, but there's really 2 ways to do this. One, you could trade, so just open up positions on things like Bitcoin, ETH, close those positions or hedge against each other with a long and a short. Of course, you're going to pay fees doing that, but it's the cost of farming the airdrop, right? Another thing you can do, the second option, and this is quite simple, is when you were going to long a position anyway, instead of longing on another exchange, you can long some of that position on Hyperliquid. So let's say you're trading on Blofin and you wanted to open up a $500 Bitcoin long. Instead of doing all 500 on Blofin, you could do 250 on Blofin and 250 on Hyperliquid, or 300 on Blofin and 200 on Hyperliquid, however you want to do it, and just organically trade. And I've been naturally trading on the exchange. Now in the description below, I'll leave a link to Hyperliquid. This is my referral link that's going to give you 4% discount on all your trading fees. So if you just go onto the website normally, you'll have to pay the full rate. But if you do want a discount, you can use my referral link below to airdrop farm. The other cool thing here is that you can actually create your own referral link once you hit $10,000 in volume. And this could be as simple as depositing $1,000 into a Bitcoin trade at 10x leverage, then closing it. You hit the 10K requirement, you might pay a few dollars in fees, but then you can get your own link that you could share with your friends. So that enables you to earn more points. So there is a referral system, and that will contribute to your ability to earn points beyond just trading. So alongside Blofin, I'll also leave a link to Hyperliquid. Obviously, you can use that if you're executing an airdrop farming strategy in order to get that discount, and you'll be able to see your rewards earned from referrals and also your points via the Hyperliquid dashboard. And it updates every Friday, so it's actually super simple. The other thing you have are protocol vaults. If you want to participate in these vaults, you can earn an APR. I don't believe these contribute to points, but it will allow you to earn a pretty nice APR of 31% if that's something you are interested in. Obviously, that is where trading fees are being directed. And then you also have your portfolio section. This is the other component where you can earn points for airdrops. And basically, all you need to do here is hold spot tokens on Hyperliquid. The longer you hold, the more points you get. So it's pretty simple. You're just, the more you hold on Hyperliquid in terms of your portfolio, native on-chain assets, the more points you're going to get. I'll talk about a few coins at the end of the video and a couple memes, which I think are beneficiaries of this. As people farm the airdrop, they can perform A, well in price, and 2, you can actually hold them on Hyperliquid to earn more points. So it's trading and holding. They're the 2 ways to earn an airdrop. I thought I would give you a bit more nuance. I found this screenshot from someone that was very deep into the Hyperliquid ecosystem. They talk about a few points of nuance here, which are going to help you, like how to actually trade. So I'll just read it out. He says, risk reward, yes, is still there. It's not as good as it was, but they still think it will continue as the weeks go on. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is now, kind of thing. Have to be more cautious about getting overextended if playing spot tokens is obviously later on in the meta, but still lots of juice to squeeze, I think. The best way to earn is through spot trading and holding nowadays. So that's a bit of nuance for you in terms of where you skew your time and liquidity. Maybe consider gearing more towards spot trading. Their point system is quite sophisticated, so it's got some measures in place to detect if people are wash trading, and you'll get rewarded more for organic trading. They're obviously trying to build community members here that are holding and organically using the blockchain. So they say here, you can't just wash trade to pump up your volume. It's sophisticated, so that'll be filtered out and you won't get any or few points for that volume compared to buy X token, hold for a few days, sell, buy a different token, repeat. So in terms of strategy here, you can skew it more towards spot instead of wash trading. The reason I mentioned wash trading before is if you just need to hit that $10,000 requirement in order to get your link, if you want to get other people under your link. But in terms of building up volume, this is a good strategy. Generally, try to make a few good trades on spot that aren't only a few minutes, hours in duration. So hold things for a few days, sell them, hold a portfolio on Hyperliquid. You should do well doing that. Also, try to hold your spot through the snapshot time for extra points. So don't just deposit onto the chain and then take your money off the chain one day later. If you hold your assets until the snapshot, you'll earn more points and thus get a bigger airdrop. Also, I believe there's a hidden multiplier for length of holding time. Rebought a lot of tokens on the 9th and have noticed each week I've held the amount of points earned for the same holdings has been dramatically increasing. The thing here is that since the point system isn't fully transparent and there is, I guess, an algorithm or a system behind this, the best thing to do is just a range of things. Trade on the exchange organically. As I said, you can replace your typical trading with trading on the exchange. Try and hold a spot portfolio. Make some trades to build up spot volume, but also just make sure you're holding net assets on the chain. You can see here some predictions on Hyperliquid points. Masari did a report saying they actually think the market may be too conservative regarding the valuation of points. You can see here the point value versus the potential FDV of the Hyperliquid token. If Hyperliquid launches at 3 bill, if 30% of the supply is allocated to points, each point would actually be $17. So this definitely gives room for profits when it comes to airdrop farming. There actually isn't much to airdrop farm in the current market right now. So especially whilst a lot of other people are checking out of the market, this is an opportunity that stood out to me. Now, I spoke about earlier some spot coins, because obviously you'll need to hold and trade spot. Because you need to hold and trade spot until the snapshot period, I do think there will be room to trade and potentially profit off these tokens. Obviously, don't put your entire portfolio in. You've got to treat this with a bit of risk because some of these tokens are extremely low in market cap, so do your own research on each one independently. These are 5 that Home Crypto points out: Per, Rage, Points, H-Fun, and Jeff. Obviously, you've got a bunch of meme coins. If I scroll through here, you can see a bunch of memes that are on Hyperliquid that you can trade. There's even an Mbappe meme. I think he's actually making his debut for Real Madrid tonight, by the way. Fun side note there. I'm a Real fan. A la Madrid. Let me know in the comments below if you are as well. But these are 5 Hyperliquid spot coins you can look at. There are a bunch more as well, of course, that you can hold. Use that to farm points. Potentially, as the narrative builds towards the snapshot, you may also get price appreciation in these assets. I don't think just buying these assets to trade them is the way to go. If you're going to hold them, you may as well milk points whilst doing it, because in the event that you do lose principal on these spot positions, at least that should be counteracted, hopefully, by the airdrop that you do get, especially if, let's say it launches at a 2 to 3 bill FDV and you're making $18 to $20 per point earned. That's going to be much better to subsidize those trades in the event that you do lose money versus just holding them. And another interesting point is because people are holding to earn points, right? The liquidity here is a little bit stickier, at least until the airdrop, People need to hold these tokens and they need to hold positions in their Hyperliquid portfolio in order to maximize their point earning potential. I'm going to do a post in my Discord later as I dig more deeper into the fundamentals of the individual altcoins and meme coins, as there's a lot more research involved there on Hyperliquid. So if you are in the Mars High Club, you'll be getting access to my altcoin report on Hyperliquid. This will be a spreadsheet with all my favorite tokens on Hyperliquid, my analysis, pros, cons, and what I think about them in terms of holding and investment potential. So if you're not already in the Mars High Club, there is a link in the description below to join. It's my exclusive community where myself and other amazing analysts such as Paradise, Fabian, and Doc help you guys out. And we post a bunch of alpha. For example, I posted the Hyperliquid alpha even before this video went live because I give them the early alpha before these videos go out. So yeah, if you want that spreadsheet and that research report, and if you want to ask me questions, obviously I answer every question in that Discord. So there's a link below if you do want to join. And all the necessary resources will be in the description below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It feels good going back to my fundamentals roots and digging into a new ecosystem because it feels like recently we've been talking about macro a lot. So what I'm looking forward to over the next few weeks is digging into more ecosystems, narratives, and getting a bit more hands-on with actionable alpha again, because that's my bread and butter. And I think you guys should enjoy that type of content as well. So let me know if you want more of this kind of stuff, and I'll give it to you. I'll see you in the next video. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Peace out.